Hi, Stefan.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, fine. Can you introduce yourself to us?
So my name is Stefan. I live in Manchester with my family and and I work here. I've been here for 8 years. And yeah, I love cycling, and I've been doing this for a good while now. I've also worked as a bike mechanic, cycling became a part of my life. Unfortunately, I can't ride as much as I would like to, or as I did. But yeah, I try to put a good amount of miles in my bike every year, and yeah, that's the short story about me.
Okay, so are you a full-time bike mechanic, or is it something you do
I
on the
used to
side?
do it as a full-time job for 2 years, I think, and then I went back to warehousing because of many reasons, and now I'm working in the office, so I can't ride as much as I would like to, because obviously you have to wear a different outfit in the office, and the environment is not the best for you to get changed and keep your stuff there. But yeah, I used to do it. I used to do all sorts of services, building bikes. Yeah, from A to Z, everything.
So yeah, so you had already a lot of knowledge before you start building up your Bullitt bike. Yeah, okay. So when was the first time you got to know about the existence of Bullitt bikes?
Oh, it was a while ago. My brother used to work as a courier in Budapest, Hungary, where Bugaboo is from. I've seen you've tested and made a few videos of their products. So he used to be a courier in Budapest, and one day he just asked me if I would like to try one of these bikes. I've never seen one before, so he turned up, and those bikes used to have the big aluminium box on the front, and and they asked me if I would like to take it for a quick spin, and yeah, that was it. I got hooked on the cargobike feeling, or cargobike life, and then I decided I would like to own a cargobike. It wasn't necessarily a Bullitt, so I started looking on the market, and eventually I always bounced back to Bullitts because of it was easier to access. I find it easier to find parts that are compatible with it, and then the guys just down the road turned out to be a supplier, so yeah, eventually I ended up buying a frame, and that's how the adventure started.
Is the Bullitt your daily ride, or do you still own and ride a car?
I still own a car, and I still drive on a daily basis, unfortunately. It used to be different. I didn't own a car for quite a few years. And it was good and bad. It was good because obviously you didn't have to spend money on a car, and I was healthier a lot. I was in a better shape as well. But then when my daughter was born, I kind of thought that it's time to invest in a car. And also I changed jobs, and now I'm working 10 miles away from here. So because the roads are not the best, and the bike lanes, I mean, I don't even think there are bike lanes between Manchester and the city where I work. It's just easier to get in the car. If the weather is okay and I don't have to pick up my daughter or anything like that, I normally just hop on my mountain bike and I go through the scenic view, through the woods. And so yeah, I still ride a lot, but not as much as I would like to.
How long do you own your Bullitt?
I think it's about a year and a half. Yeah, it's been a year and a half now. Yeah.
Yeah. So a year and a half that it's finished, or was it a year and a half that you started to build up the
It
bike?
didn't take me too long to build a bike, to be honest. I already planned out everything. I just had to order the parts and everything. So I think it took me about 3 months to build the bike, which is quite good. So yeah, the year and a half is the actual time that I've owned the bike and I've been riding it. So yeah, I couldn't tell you how many miles I've put in the bike, but as I said, it's not as much as I wish it would be. But I would say I did about 6,000 miles ish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you use it mainly for like leisure in your free or your spare time. So it's not like you're commuting with the bike.
Right now it's just for the weekends, and sometimes I use it on a weekday if I'm just fed up with the traffic or anything like that, or I just need a break. I just hop on the bike and I ride to work and back. But yeah, mainly for weekends.
So do you, or did you already take it out for like a longer ride, like a short vacation or something?
Not
like
yet.
that?
We've done trips where we set up in the morning and get back in the evening or at night, but we haven't spent any time in the nature overnight or for many days. We are planning to do it next year, definitely. It will start with a couple of days, nights, and then we would like to do a trip which is going to be at least a week long, and just camping, hammocking in the countryside. Hopefully I'll have lots of videos and photos so I can make another video. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, can you tell me what the heaviest or largest freight was that you ever moved on your bike?
I couldn't tell you exactly. I used to carry my tools. I would say 150 kilos ish. Oh no, actually, for a good while before we bought the canopy, I used to carry my girlfriend and my daughter at the front. So I would say about, no, it's still the tools because they weigh about 80 kilos, I guess. So I would say it was the tools, about 150 kilos. Yeah, and it's surprising how well it behaves when it's loaded. It's actually nicer to ride the bike when it's loaded. Yeah.
Yeah. I know the feeling. It feels more stable, less jumpy when there's a load on it.
It just feels better, I guess, because there's a lot more grip on the front. But yeah.
If money was no object, how would your dream Bullitt would look like or would be assembled together?
If we talk about a non-electric generic Bullitt, I wouldn't change a single thing on my bike. I think I maxed it out. I really intended to build a dream Bullitt, built Bullitt bike. If I could add another thing, that would be electric assistance. But I would go for a mid-drive aftermarket system, just so I can convert it back anytime if I'm not happy with it. But that's the only upgrade I can think of.
So this one, I saw it yesterday in the pictures on your bike. So we see here the word. I think it's overkill. Yeah. So is that the name of your bike?
One of my friends and colleague as well. is into designing, graphic designings, and when I explained everything about the bike, and I thought this bike doesn't have a name like the original Bullitts with the colorways. He just designed this for me, and he sent it over, and I was like, yeah, that's basically, because I just went over the top with the parts and the components and everything, and that's the name of the bike, Overkill.
So, can you tell me something about the color of your bike?
The color of the bike is inspired by another Bullitt, which has been featured on your channel previously. Obviously, that one has drop bars and a different kind of setup. It's a lot lighter, but the color is, I guess, the same or very similar. And I really liked it, so I started searching for that kind of paint, and this is what I managed to pick up. And obviously the girls really liked it, so they decided that I can choose the components and the setup, but they will choose the colors on the bike. And obviously, because it was already like a pinkish, purplish color, they went with that with those vibes, and as you'll see, the end result, it turned out to be a really nice and girlish bike, which I don't mind at all because I think it looks awesome.
Yeah. The one that was featured on my channel was the Bullitt from Barter Locomotief. So you told me the floorboard was not from LarryvsHarry, but it's also an own design, I think.
I found quite a few templates on Instagram, I think, or the Bullitt, the International Bullitt group on Facebook. I'm not sure where I found it, and that's what I used to create the floorboard. It's just green plywood, anti-slip surface, and I just used basic tools to make it, and I don't regret it. I think it's very good. It's not very heavy. Obviously, I didn't want. I just couldn't justify the price of the original floorboard. It was just a bit too much for me. And because I wasn't going to use all side, I just needed a sturdy base. But the sideboards and everything else could be anything.
So the front panel and the back
panel?
They're
made out of, I don't know what's the right word for it, or what's the term for it. It's just basically a sandwich material. It's aluminium, plastic and aluminium, or the other way around. Very light, kind of durable, and my friend had a couple of sheets lying around, so he just thought I could use them, and it did work out very well. So yeah, that's what I use.
Yeah, but those are also
yes,
made by yourself. Yeah, I think this is, but it's not the damper that's on your bike. This is the first damper.
3D printed bracket. Again, the design is off the Facebook group, and it did work well. The only downside is that the golden, like let's call it a shaft, was always sticking out. So I always managed to catch things as I was pushing the bike around in the flat, because I live in a flat, and I just thought I could do something else, and that's how I came up with the second version, which we can have a look later on. This is a very good design. It cost me like £25 in total, so it was a good experience.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and then you switched to the other one that's also used for the bikes.
That one is mounted underneath the floor.
For the motorbike,
with a custom-made bracket.
Yeah. Yeah, because you said you live in an apartment, and you told me also that you take your bike always into the apartment, so you don't store it outside or in a garage.
I put it in the lift first, and I have to stand it up on the back wheel, put it kind of on an angle, and that was the other reason why I went for the Bullitt, because my brother had one, and we tried it, we brought it up here, it did fit, so I went with the Bullitt frame to just make sure I can always bring it up, because there's no other way to store it, no other safe way to store it, and yeah, it lives in the bedroom. I think there's a photo somewhere in that folder, and it shows that it's literally underneath the TV as a nice ornament.
So it's always very clean because you have to take it inside. So that's an incentive to clean it,
exactly.
to keep it clean. So this is a picture of your bike
without the canopy.
Without the canopy?
This was not long after I finished the build. I was using those straps, and it did work. It just wasn't safe enough to carry my daughter on the front. I used to have handlebar mirrors, like bar end mirrors, which didn't really work out because I have to put it in the lift, as I said, and it kept damaging them, and always had to adjust them, so I just got rid of them. Well, they are very handy. They were very handy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, the stickers on the side, the Bullitt stickers, were made by a friend, and they are reflective as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, most of the parts are custom, or at least I touched something on it just to make it bespoke.
Yeah. So you started from a raw frame initially.
With the originally black forks, and I did like it, so I didn't change it. And yeah, I just took it to a paint shop, and I got it painted this color. And I also added like a protective film that you can buy from mountain bikes. I just bought a big sheet, and I spent a full day trying to cut it to size and fit it to the bike. It did work out well. Obviously, I still managed to put a few marks and scuffs on it, but that means it's being used. And every scar, every mark on the bike is a memory. So I hope we'll end up with lots of marks.
So here we see the bike with the canopy. And then also without the mirrors.
Have been taken like last week or something like that. So these are the most up-to-date photos of the bike. Since then, it got a different saddle, which is a Brooks saddle, different tyres, different front chainring, and a canopy with the foldable seat. But that's basically it. Nothing else has changed.
Now we see the back of the bike, the back wheel with the gearing system. Can you give us a bit of more information about the gearing system?
The groupset is a Sram X01 AXS, which is a mountain bike wireless setup. It's probably not necessary for a cargo bike, but it's definitely fun to ride. It's very reliable. As I've said, I live in a flat, so when it comes to cleaning the bike, I just take it off, break the quick link on the chain, clean the derailleur, put it back, and you don't have to adjust anything. The chainring got swapped out with a bigger one. I think this one is 36 tooth, or maybe more. I don't even remember, because I ran out of gears when I was descending, and it got very spinny. And when it came to climbing, I could literally go up on a wall, and I didn't really need that. So it's still very good if there's skids and the trailer, because I've got a Tall Peak Journey trailer which I use quite often. I can, if the trailer is attached and fully loaded plus the kids, it's still plenty of what's it called, gear ratio, or it's still easy to climb up big hills. So yeah, it's also oval ring. I bought that accidentally. I think they've run out of the just normal chainring, and I bought this one, but it seems to work. I can't say anything good or bad about it. It works. It looks funky as well. So yeah.
So here we see the brook saddle. It's
Yes.
It's with springs. So
Exactly,
it's just to add some
I
extra
thought
comfort.
Could be helpful, useful, especially when you decide to ride to raise the handlebars and ride in a more upright position. It's very comfortable. I love this seat. The only downside of it is that it's creaking all the time. And yeah, I have to mention it because it drives me crazy sometimes. I've tried everything to eliminate the creaking sound, but I think it's just part of the experience.
Then we see here steering and
brakes,
the
Hope.
brake levers.
The full brake
So-
system is Hope. Tech-free levers and V4 calipers, if I'm correct. The reason I chose these is because they are serviceable. They are UK made, so it's fairly easy to get hold of any parts, and the guys at Hope are always helpful. So if you need anything, even if it's just an O-ring, they are willing to help you and send something out to get you back on the road. So yeah, literally any part can be replaced on it. And yeah, let's mention that they are very, very powerful. So if you need stopping power, then I could definitely recommend to go for these types of brakes.
And also a spur bell, but that's
I used to have
a nice loud sound.
and I've seen
A lot of
lots
Bullitters
places are
use
using
it,
the air
yeah.
sound, air horn, and I used to have one. I gave it to my brother,
Yeah.
but that was just a bit too loud, so I managed to scare the kids a couple of times when I just got angry at cars or something like that, and I just slammed on the horn, and oh my god, it's very loud. So I just thought I'm gonna go for a nice little bell and just keep it quiet.
And the handles on the handle on the steering?
Grips,
yeah, the grips, yes, sorry.
I forgot the brand, but obviously we didn't really go for anything special. The girls were looking for pink grips, and this is what they found, and it looked okay, looked comfortable. They really are comfortable, and that's just the story of the grips.
Okay, so you still use the easy up system? You've kept that?
I was thinking of getting rid of it because at the beginning it was creaking and it felt a bit weird, but I managed to figure it out, and it works just fine. And I think it's a good feature on the bike. Plus, as I said, I have to carry it up in the lift all the time, so I always have to drop it to the lowest possible level without hitting the canopy. Plus, when you're riding, sometimes it's just good to raise it just a bit so you can rest your back a bit. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I really like it, so I thought, why would I get rid of it?
So then we see the
bottom
bracket.
Kind of. I've already had that before I bought anything. It's a second-hand one of a mountain bike, and that kind of gave the inspiration to the girls to go for this purplish, pinkish colour, and they tried to match all the parts to this bottom bracket, and they did a good job with that. It's a Chris King, very good. I've had it, as I said, I've had it for a year and a half, and it still works perfectly. So let's hope that I can get a few more miles out of it.
And then we see the pedals.
All the time.
So you use
Rides.
clipless pedals all the time?
I used to ride fixies as well with the same setup, and it just became natural, and I can't really ride bikes with a flat pedal anymore. I keep lifting my feet off, and yeah, it did happen quite often when it was raining and I managed to slide off the pedals, and it's just not, I don't feel like it's safe anymore, so I just stick with these. Plus, let's not forget that you can also pull with these pedals, not just push down on it, which helps a lot, especially when you're climbing.
So in here we have a detail of the back tire and the rim, the back.
Yeah, so I'll start with the hub. Although you can't see it, it's also a hub, a mountain bike hub. It's got DT Swiss double-butted spokes, aluminium generic BMX what's it called, nipples, but they are purple, so we had to go for those. The rims are Halo T2s, mountain bike rims. They're very strong, pretty wide, absolutely reliable. I don't think I had to true the wheel once since I have the bike. And the tyre is Schwalbe bonkers. This is the biggest, the widest tyre I can fit into the frame, because unfortunately that's the only flaw with the Bullitt frame and the tyre clearance. But yeah, it works. I can't pump them up to the maximum pressure because then it starts rubbing. But if I keep it on like 45 psi, it's still comfortable, and yeah, it still fits in the frame.
And then we have the front part of the bike, and I see a lot of different lights.
There's a light set on it, which is an exposure. I forgot what is the exact model, but so it's a whole kit. It comes with the hub, the front light, and the rear light. It's very light, very bright, and so it's a powerful set of lights. But I just needed something which is even more powerful. So this is a set of 12 volt lights. It's being powered of a custom-made battery pack. You can turn it on and off the handlebars. It's good when you're in the city or when you ride in the dark on an empty like A road or B road. It's just good. I use it sometimes when taxi drivers use the bike lane as a car park or stuff like that, just to make sure they can see that I'm approaching them. Good stuff.
And in here we see the damper we talked about earlier. So this one is then the second damper you mounted?
On motorbikes, exactly. I wanted to go for the original LarryvsHarry steering damper, but it was hard to get hold of it. And I think it was at the time when they stopped making the older one, but the new one wasn't ready. So I just came up with this idea. I just had to make a custom bracket which goes into the crossbar. I had to put a rivet in it, and I had to drill a hole in the steering, like let's call it steering arm or whatever is that, just right off. Well, you can call it a steering linkage. And I just did drill a hole, tap it, put a bolt through it, plus fit the bracket on the front, and it was ready, and it works. It's not as effective as the one on the front, because of the flex in the steering arm, but it still does the job. I managed to reach high speeds, and it did stop the speed wobble, so if it works I'll just keep it there.